for me, I can just tell you what I think. But hey, what does Zoe know? You know what I mean? So so on the line here we have Charlie West. Charlie West, originally from Chicago, out there on the Arizona scene. He actually is a music producer, as well as he can spit a little bit as well too. But right now he's moving a lot of his energies and things to a lot of his energies and things to producing. He makes music and he also does video recording as well. So he has his hands in music video productions and things of that nature. And as he just told me just some time ago, earlier on this phone call, he was out in Ohio actually doing a project as well. So he's kind of involved in making sure he takes care of that and get that right. So I'm just waiting for him to come back. He's been dealing with some things over there on his end.
I'm
But
back.
I'm glad to have him. And so you're back. Okay. All right. Charlie West is back on. And when we were talking about was you said it's a process. So he said we're not chasing perfection, but we're always trying to get better. Each time we try to get better, and just allow the process to happen. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the thing about not chasing perfection when you're dealing with audio, sound, when you're dealing with media and I mean even vlogging or podcasting. The thing about not chasing perfection is when people try to be perfect, the listeners and the people tend they digress. Uh, it becomes a digression and putting things together.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is they want a lot of people want to feel like they were there in the embryo stage of when you did something.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
I like when I first I think that's why a lot of people latched on to me musically, and then it wasn't hard for people to transition with me because they saw, oh, okay, he's a rapper, he dope at rapping. They heard the albums that where I was, testing the waters and trying to find myself, and then they said, and then when I became Charlie West, it was like, oh shit, he dope though. But the progress is what they fell in love with because then um they feel like they know you. They don't feel like a consumer. They feel like a friend.
Yeah,
So
and I think a lot of people do that when they get latched on to a particular personality or artist in any genre of entertainment. They love to see when you first start off, and they like to take that journey with you, and they like to see the evolution of the person. You know,
right, and then you got to think about this too. The average consumer is the person that's actually listening to your stuff is 9 out of 10 times a person that's not financially in a space where they can do it. So they looking for an outlet. And when they latch on to a personality or they latch on to a person, they make the person an extension of their self.
hmm
They vicariously live through the artist that they like
absolutely,
because or the personality or even like that, like even with like basketball figures or football athletes and stuff
absolutely.
like that. If you wanted to be a dope point guard and you see and your favorite, I mean, we could say Gary Payton.
hmm The
You
glove.
know, back in the day, everybody said, I'm the glove, on the glove, on the court, they the glove. They get one steal, they the glove.
They're the greatest of all time at that point.
They the greatest of all time. After they do that, yeah, Gary did that, and I did it the same way.
hmm
So then they start living out the dream through that person,
Right, right.
and that's how it is in entertainment. If you start off as Funk Master Flex, you don't have a ceiling. I mean,
Right.
if you start off as Funk Master Flex, then you've created a ceiling.
Right. You've limited your own self.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But if you start off and you say, hey, y'all, hey, this is the first one. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but this is where we going.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
We're going to start here and hopefully we can end here. Y'all rocking with me?
We're gonna see
And
where
then
it
they're going to
goes.
be like, hey, man, we like him.
Yeah. I mean, because when it comes to the public sphere, I think the majority of people would like to be someone who can actually express themselves in the open. But we all know that that is one of the greatest fears people have is speaking or doing anything out in public where people can see them and judge them and and critique and criticize and things of that nature.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because the minute you do it, that's when they start loading the gun up.
Absolutely, absolutely, and you got some sharpshooters out there too.
Yeah, yeah,
They're professional critics.
yeah. And
Even if it's something they can't do, they're going to criticize it.
oh, they look, man, look. I had a dude tell me one day, hey, man, Charlie, if you did this, uh, uh, it would make people it would bring you 1,000 more fans. And I told him, I said, well, look, I tell you one better. If I did that and then turned around and really displayed who I really am, those the people that thought that they were getting me, when they find out that I'm not that person that you want me to be, then I lose those people.
Yeah, you may have gained 1,000, but you may have lost 25,000 because they were
Yeah,
connected to a whole nother person.
right, right. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So they say 6 degrees of separation,
Hmm.
right? So if it's 6 degrees of separation, that means for every six person I know, you know one of the people.
Hmm. In
No
some way,
matter
shape,
how,
or fashion, you're connected.
yeah, you connected to them. You know what I mean? And when people do things in a fashion that's not authentic, then once everybody start talking, you basically cut your legs off. You don't have nothing to run with, because at that point you've already got they've already put you've already got a stamp. Okay, this is what he is.
Hmm.
But if you say, hey, I'm doing this, and the approach that I'm gonna take, I'm gonna be eclectic in the way that I approach this situation, then it's like, okay, well, he said he's gonna be eclectic, so that means he's coming from every angle, and we don't know what he's gonna say today.
Hmm.
Well, that's gonna make people jump in, because they're gonna say, oh shit, yesterday he was talking politics, today he might be talking about uh 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 government reform
Right.
with inside of politics, or he might talk about relationships today,
Right.
or he might talk about uh 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 high school basketball and what's going on, or a new artist that dropped,
Right.
or 250 doctors that got their medical degrees become doctors. You might go into that and tell stories about them.
Yeah,
You know
and
what I mean?
and that's what I really want for the program. I wanted to go in whatever direction that is organically going to go into, because at the end of the day, when you say people have an image that somebody they may want someone to be, for me, I think the best thing you can do is be authentic to yourself, because when it comes down to it, no one can give you me but me.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So trying to aspire to be like this person or like that person, you have to realize that the people you're trying to be like, they are being themselves.
Absolutely. And
So,
then and then here's what it is on a greater scale.
mm,
So everything that you do on the World Wide Web It's timestamp.
And it's forever.
So it's forever. So when you leave, like, so when you dead and gone, and people say, "Hey, I knew this cat, Lorenzo," they gonna say, "And he had a podcast, and he did this, and he talked about this, and that. And man, it was amazing." Well, it's timestamped. So they gonna go in and look at everything you say, and at any point, if you backtrack or go back and rebuttal anything
Yeah.
that you said,
And try to alter history.
it's over.
Right.
It's over. You look. Once you say it, it's there.
They gonna always be able
I
to,
said it,
yeah.
and that's what it
They're
is.
gonna find that period in time.
Yeah,
I mean, some people will make it a mission to find something.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. I mean, look. It's the podcast. Look, I think the dopest part of podcasting and vlogging is I think it's actually the new encyclopedia, because now you can go on YouTube and type in, let's say you wanted to learn about hieroglyphics.
Right.
You can go in and type in hieroglyphics, and it's going to show you everything. You want to go in and you want to learn about barbering, becoming a barber, and being a successful barber, or even just learning the art of barbering. You could type in when the very first clipper came out.
The information is there.
It's there. So 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 people, when people see people talk about things, they automatically assume it's opinion until they do a little research. But then you got those people that take things at face value.
Right.
They look at you as the person that say, okay, if he's speaking on it, I'm sure he did research on it. So they might take the information that you give and literally go talk about it in front of 1,000 to 20,000 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
They could build a whole lecture off of what you talk about because of the information that you provide.
That's correct.
So it's a beautiful thing, man, and that's why I say you got to make sure that you're not chasing perfection. You just got to make sure that what you talk about, you got stuff to back it up, and that you don't allow people to argue their opinion or make you argue. You don't want to argue your opinion with people. You want to just put it out there, have good dialogue, dialect on it, and leave it for the other people to talk about it. And then you go in and you look at the comments and see what they say. And then if you got 20 million people engaging, but 20 million people saying you wrong, you still win because you got 20 million people mad at you.
You got them to respond.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
So it's really about algorithms and stuff like that. I mean, and I always tell people, if I would have knew about algorithms and how things worked when I first started doing music, I would have spent more time on music placement than I did on making music. You know what I mean? Because you could have 100 songs, and if you don't know where to place them, then you shot yourself in the foot.
I mean, everyone can't do everything, so everybody has a role. I mean, if you are a creator, and that's truly what you are, then you do that to the best of your ability, and let the analytical minded people who are not ones who are strong in actually creating art and things of that nature. So you don't necessarily have to be the person to know how to do the placement, but it's important to find someone that is, while you can focus on the things that you can flourish at.
But here it is. Here's the other side of the coin.
Here's the rub, huh?
Right? So if you're a banker, right, and you don't know how to count money,
don't need to be a
You're not
banker.
you're not a banker, right? If you
Absolutely.
if you do music and you don't know how to put to and you don't take the time and study the people that engage and listen to your music, then you really you just creating art that's you creating stalemate art, because the idea is to find the people that like your music.
Mm-hmm.
If you make music like NWA, then what you do is you go into the groups of people that are political, people that are up on political stuff and that content and revolutionaries,
Mm-hmm.
and you get known. You put yourself in that circle to where those people know who you are.
Mm-hmm. That message resonates with them.
Right. So then when they look you up, they say, "Oh shit, Charlie West got a song out. Let me check that out." Because they're gonna say, "What Charlie West talking about today? What could we find out? What's going on with him? Oh, he dropped a new song." So at that point, you don't have to say nothing, because the algorithm, the you've studied the algorithms of how people engage with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's about engagement. It's not about the music. It's about engaging with people so that the music had create its own legs.
Okay.
You know, and if you look at these kids now, they create music one day and the next day they got 1 million views. Well, the reason why they got 1 million views is because they understand that they have to be appealing first, and they created a whole science to make you look at them from the way that you want. If they know you looking at Lil Durk and he's doing this, then they say, well, okay, we got to make them look at me like they look at Lil Durk. Okay, well, I'm gonna go get a chain. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. Not saying that it's right, but if that's where you're at and that's what you're pushing and that's your agenda, then you have to do it. But then you also have to accept what come with it.
So, do you think that today's artists are necessarily looking at it from a perspective of how can I get attention? What do I need to do? Even if it's not them, you think they're putting on a facade more so than artists in different eras, to the point where they're doing some of the craziest things, and I think technology may have a part to play in that, because now in today's society there are so many ways to reach out to the public that we didn't have back when we were younger. The accessibility to a particular artist is much different. People are able to reach audiences without having to sign a record deal. They can just upload their stuff online and connect with their following that way. Without having to sign away their lives, but and
Before
also, huh?
before you had to go find the labels.
Mm-hmm.
Now the labels go for the artists. The labels before you had to go to a label, sign the deal, and get funding from the
And
label.
then
Now,
try to prove yourself after the fact. Shit, now
right,
now now
and
now the
now
labels are able. They know the analytics better than you do. So that's when they're pursuing you, when they see what your numbers are doing.
no, the labels now are they're doing deals between the artists that the artists now are wearing business hats. They walking into the labels and they saying, "Fuck you! I already got 10 million views. So either you take the 25% and you boost up my marketing to get some more money, or I'll do it in a year anyway."
Mm.
So the artist got more leverage now.
What so for the artists who are able to get it themselves, what's the real incentive for them to even do a deal with a major record label?
Well, I mean, the major labels still own the platforms in which you put where people download the music faster.
Mm-hmm.
When Chief Keef came out, he had 20 million views on YouTube.
Could
What a pick.
is that necessarily true when you have artists who can actually upload their own music on like an Apple platform?
Yeah, yeah, but you still the labels still got skin in Apple on that side of it because the labels pay for slots within the Apple platform where they'll put that artist on the front page.
Okay.
So it's like before when you would go to the record store would say we got LL Cool J, Big Daddy Kane, Moni Love, Queen Latifah, Fresh Prince, and when they drop, the labels will come in, set up the posters, put everything in there, and then say, "Hey, we're gonna pay for these." When they walk in the door, we're gonna pay for this whole rack right here, and these gonna all be Def Jam artists today.
So all the marketing and placement.
Right. So now what they're doing is the label has the ability to make the phone call first, because on a bigger scale, Apple tends to lose will stand a chance at losing money if the label, like if an artist came and dealt with Apple directly and said, "Hey, I want to put my content on there." Apple puts their stamp. Let's say Apple acts as the distributor for the music that somebody's putting out.
Okay.
Well, Apple stands a chance of getting sued because, or they get the black eye because if it's Chief Keef with no label and Apple is the distributor, Apple Music is the distributor, then whatever Chief Keef does, Apple gets the black eye. They like, man, you putting out music. You saw what happened with R. Kelly. They snatched him off, but they snatched him off a lot of the platforms because they didn't want to have to deal
Hey,
with
people were boycotting.
right. So the labels. So what Apple did was told the labels, hey, cancel your cancel. Go in and remove everything that you submitted to us, so the labels can go in and basically just deactivate all of his music, and then Apple just gets the clearance, and then once the label get rid of the music, they put a code in and it's not there no more. Apple don't have the ability to go through SoundScan, all of the radio stations. They don't have the ability to do that because they're a company and then they got Apple Music, which is a DBA under that corporation. Just like Beats by Dre. If tomorrow Dr. Dre if tomorrow Dr. Dre, Lord forbid, knock on wood, if he passed tomorrow, Apple's gonna get a whole lot of money through Beats because they're gonna know that this is the last pair of headphones that we're gonna get with his stamp on it.
Interesting.
Right? But here's the flip side of the coin. If Dr. Dre smacked a lady in public tomorrow, Apple stocks go down.
In some way, right?
No, they're going to go down because you're going to have a lot of women's groups and a lot of different people that say they support a woman beater. So Apple has to have a middleman to say when they go when they go in front of the news and say, hey, let's say Apple runs Beats by Dre or they got a contract with Beats by Dre. They'll say, we pulled the contract, but this is who Dr. Dre's father company is Interscope.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to say, we do business with Interscope. We don't do business with Dr. Dre.
Oh, okay. So that's the insulator for them.
Right. It's the filter. It's Jimmy Iovine is the person that brokered the deal that turned Dre into a billionaire.
Okay.
Right. They just use Dre's likeness like Michael Jordan, like Nike used Michael Jordan's likeness. Right.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's why Lonzo Ball's father wasn't able to have a deal through Nike because he wanted complete ownership, but he wanted to use. Let's say he walked in and he was working a deal with Nike and they sat down at the business table. But the way it would go is hey, we just want the imprint of Nike. We're gonna handle this, and this, and that, and this, and that, and Nike gets a percentage of that. Well, if his father goes off the edge and do something crazy, and it's the direct line between Nike is him, and there's no middleman. If the NBA says, "Oh no, man, we don't make any money. We only make money off his son. We don't have anything we don't have any stake in the shoes," then Nike will say, "Well, if you get the NBA to put the stamp on it, then we're okay." Well, the NBA is going to say, "Well, why would we put a stamp on something we don't have ownership in?" Because what they have ownership in, and they have the split with, is Adidas or Reebok or whoever that is. So if Ball come in and he put his shoe, he come in with his shoes. If he break his ankles on the court, the NBA has no liability, and he actually has to pay the NBA because his contract, the NBA's contract is with whatever shoe company or whatever apparel line, So he's responsible for that at that point. So when he missed time, the NBA don't have to pay him for that because the contract ain't with them with the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing in music. It's the same thing. It's the same thing in everything except for podcasts. Podcasts, you can get sponsored by Ciroc, but what Puffy will say is, "Hey man, I just provided the liquor." And I gave him some money.
But once you put your stamp on someone, you definitely you put yourself in the line of fire of any type of consequences and things. So
Yeah,
you do put up a bit of risk.
But at that point, they're not responsible for what the person say. Now, if somebody grab a bottle and hit one of the people inside of the studio with a bottle, that's different.
What do you mean? You think the liquor company is responsible for the bottle that hit someone?
So look, if we sitting at a table,
mm-hmm.
and the liquor inside of a studio and it says sponsored by Ciroc, Ciroc has to get insurance on his liquor. If somebody drink that liquor and get sick, and Ciroc don't put that they used, let's say they use, it's wheat based, and somebody is allergic to wheat, and Ciroc and they don't put that it's a wheat based liquor. Well, if somebody hit them with a bottle, the lawyer can go in and say, well, yeah, Ciroc didn't have anything to do with the person hitting them, but they could turn around and sue him because the bottle that hit him had liquor in it that was wheat based, and the person was allergic to the wheat in the liquor.
I don't even know if that's an actual thing. But
no, but I'm saying it's a lot of different components.
We know lawyers will try to use any angle, whether it's a real one or a fake. They're going to do what they do.
Right. So, and the thing is naturally, what you think Puffy gonna do? Oh man, if they go live with this shit, we gonna get a black eye. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna go behind the scenes and say, hey, We give you 150,000. You did get hit with our bottle. We don't want a black eye in public. Here go 150,000.
So he gonna pay to make it go away.
Yeah, get out of here. Go. Yeah, because the truth of the matter is once they put Revolt or Ciroc on the wall, they're responsible.
It's an endorsement.
Yeah, and they got hit with their bottle. They gonna say, "Hey man, well, we got hit with your bottle, man. If you didn't have, you should have had plastic bottles, man."
They gonna sue the liquor company. They gonna sue the building manager, the property, the property where it happened at. Anybody that was in there, whatever they can get the stick.
Everybody. They gonna say, y'all would you allow people to have more drinks in the bar. They gonna do everything. They gonna say, how did y'all keep track of how much they were drinking? Now here's the kicker though.
Well, someone has to be selling it for those type of things to take effect though.
No. If you have an artist and he comes in there and he's drinking,
isn't that personal use though? Because it's not doing business of selling alcohol at that point though.
If you leave, I mean, the thing is they would have to prove it.
But you would have to have a history of selling alcohol at that location, but you wouldn't have that.
What I'm saying is they would have, like, let's say this. Let's say you get somebody like JayZ, Beanie Sigel, somebody else, and they're in there. Well, first of all, in order to get JayZ to come to a podcast like that, your numbers are going to go up. You had to cut him a check.
He's not going to do it off the strength, huh?
Yeah, no.
His time is money.
Yeah, no, his likeness is money.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to make a certain amount of money off of him, period. The minute he walk in the room, you're going to get 50 million views.
Or has any kind of association, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get paid. So let's say JayZ walk in with Beanie Sigel in there, and somebody say something.
That's not going to happen anymore at this point with their history.
No, but it's logical because JayZ a businessman. If it makes business sense, and somebody say, "Hey, man,
well,
we want to see a Rockefeller reunion."
Yeah, people have been asking for that for years. That's not going to happen. JayZ is in a whole different stratosphere from that.
But here's the kicker.
There's not enough money in that venture for JayZ.
Look, here's the kicker. Worldwide, it's enough money.
No, JayZ would have to reach backwards in order to do that. And I don't think that's anything of interest to him, because the only people that will be benefiting are the people that are trying to associate with him, not the other way around.
You know what would make JayZ do it?
What do you think?
If JayZ had a project he was about to drop.
But what project would make sense to even take himself backwards?
If JayZ was doing a layout, JayZ is one of the smartest businessmen in the world. JayZ, if JayZ was going to do an album layout, he's going to put some shit out. And they said, "Hey, since you're doing this, we know you're going to make this amount of money, but if we do this, and the fans, you got to think, he got Rihanna's career, he got Griselda, the group, he got Beyonce, he got Jim Jones, he got all of these different artists under the Rock Nation imprint, right? Rock
Nation, Rockefeller. Oh, I think he's moved away from all of them.
No,
not Rock Nation.
No, Rock Nation. Everything turned to Rock Nation. Everything.
But
everything.
again, his career is always been moving forward, and you're never going to be
But
at a
but
one.
his career
There are so many
is
people that want those type of things, those reunions, to relive the old days, and
right.
from what he's been doing, you can tell that that's not something that's of interest to him because I
Yeah,
mean, he's
but
moving
you
on
got
to
to think
new. He's
about it.
been there, done that.
He still got Memphis Bleak around him. And to be real with you, him and Benny Siegel cool now.
Okay,
Uh, 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 the only person, the only person that he's not,
him and Dame.
yeah, yeah, but even him and Dame still talk. They
Uh,
they
from
they still
from the interviews that I saw, he always saying I haven't talked to him in forever. I haven't talked to him in
no
years.
no, but the thing is you when you got Kareem Biggs there with Jay and Emery and all of them had relationships. They still talk. They literally still talk because they still cashing old checks with each other. They still got to do business with each other. It don't matter. It don't matter. Look, let me tell you something. Jordan and Doug Collins will always be close because
I'm not even sure about that. Hmm.
no, it's a proven fact. When Jordan just did the last dance, they had Doug Collins in there. He talked about Jordan. It wasn't no bad blood. They talked about each other. So, but they did it because of business. Now Jordan didn't have to say nothing. He's a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
He's going backwards to do that.
Because no, only because the Last Dance was promoting him.
It was legacy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
People, the young kids right now, these kids are retro kids. This generation, Q, Jameer, JJ, Boo, Nani, all of our
All
kids,
our
bro,
kids.
are retro kids. They dig into old music. They dig into old hip hop like we dug into old R&B.
Mm-hmm.
And because they interested in it. They want to know what cross color. They want to know about cross color. They want to know about Jabot. They want to know about uh 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 why was Nelly wearing what jersey was
You
that
talking
that
about
Nelly had?
Fat Farm and Fubu
Yeah,
and
yeah, they rocking that these it's a whole it's a whole it's a whole business. It's a whole society that moves. It flourishes off of that.
oh yeah. I know we definitely
And
have a retro generation coming up or a movement for retro
right
things.
now, every time a kid buy a Rockaware shirt, they like,
Hold on,
"Ooh,
you think kids are buying Rockaware stuff now?
bro, look, let me tell you something.
I have
It,
not seen Rockaware on
look,
anyone in years.
look. What I'm saying is you got kids that are going back now. The new thing is going back and finding stuff that's 10 to 15, 20 years old. Like kids now, they looking for ACG shoes now.
Who's making that cool? Because you always hear a lot of the new generation talking about the older generation, like, oh, them, them old heads. You know what I'm saying? We're on something different now. Who's making the old time apparel cool again? Who's in the
What see,
forefront of that?
no, no. See, what the kids are doing is they looking at these old Jordan posters because they buying the retro shoes and
Well, I
they
understand.
getting
I
all.
understand with the Jordan. I'm just talking about the
No,
fashion
no,
line,
no.
the
What?
clothing lines, and things.
No, what I'm saying is this: when they look at the old retro Jordan, when they type in Jordan fives in Google, they see Carl Kanai with Jordans on. They see Spike Lee with Jordans on. They see the HBU colleges. Uh, uh, they see the cross color. They going back looking at Martin, all of the Martin shows on Netflix and on Prime, on Amazon Prime. They seeing, oh, these Jordans came out in '87. What was going on in '87? So the kids are going back and reinventing the whip. That's why they selling these little small record players now, because you got a whole society of kids now that's going back and they touching vinyls. They starting to print vinyls up again, because you got kids that are collectors now. Just like you got people that like Supreme. Like in 20 years, Supreme is gonna be like a Louis Vuitton, because these kids are actually treating it like it's historical. So if you see Spike Lee and he got on a historical black college jogging suit, and then you go see Martin, he got the HBU, the Grambling on with the Jordan, with the Jordan 1s or the Jordan 2s or the 3s. They like, damn, look at that outfit. I wonder, could I get that outfit and take a picture and do it on a video? And then they look cool. It's like, oh shit, dude, you got the same jogging suit that Martin Lawrence wore? Oh man, where could I get that from? So they go type in.
You're saying there's some nostalgia that goes along with that too. You saying?
Yeah. It's like how we did. The only thing that was different in the way we did it was when Run DMC put on Levi's, we rocked the Levi's right then and there. When they put on the Levi's with the white tees with the Dookie ropes and the leather bomber jackets with the Adidas, we was like, yo, we want that now.
Wow. Those particular artists, they weren't reaching back at them. I mean, they were setting new trends actually. You know, the only thing that I would say that they probably reached back for is just the vibe of the music that they were delivering. But as far as fashion sense, the people you're naming were people who actually were trendsetters. They were making a new set of fashion that people to follow along with.
But what I'm saying now is these kids have created their own music that sounds nothing like what we did. So what they're doing now is they're locking into our fashion.
Okay.
They locking in and they saying, oh shit, did you see what Aaliyah had? Oh, they keep comparing us. They say my music sounds like I look like Aaliyah. So they go and look at Aaliyah. And then whoever's their fashion designer, they'll say, girl, you got that Aaliyah appeal. Let me find you some overalls.
Oh, I'll wait to see that.
Right?
I'll wait to see that.
So they doing it. If you go on Instagram and just look at all of these new, just go on Google and put top 20 artists. Top 20 hip hop artists, top 20 R&B artists, top 20
pop
alternative artists. Mm-hmm. You go in and you type those up. And then all those artists, you write them down and you go to look at their pages. When you look at their page, you're gonna say, damn, Missy Elliott wore that back. Oh, that was an LL jogging suit.
Or would you say esque? I don't know if they're necessarily wearing the same thing, the exact same thing, but something that looks like.
They literally are reinventing the wheel. They coming up like they Carl Kanai. Type in Carl Kanai 2020 sales. People look, 90. My daughter said, "Dad, I want a Carl Kanai shirt like Tupac had on." I want that Carl Kanai shirt. I typed it up. Boom! It was online.
I'll have to look into that. That's interesting. That's interesting because it hadn't hit my radar yet. But now that you're bringing it up, I'll have to go ahead and I'll take a look at that.
Yeah,
and see these resurgences of fashion.
it threw me off because I'm like, damn, baby, what you know about like Nani listens to Tupac. Like she listening to Tupac, she listening to they all of these little kids now are listening to all of the music. The shit that we thought that they wouldn't listen to is what they listening to, but they just creating a different type of music. But they still going back listening
For
to that
influences.
music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they still looking at it. We don't think they are, but when I'm playing new music, my son was like today. I said, "Boo." He said, "Dad, I want to go get my nose pierced." I said, "What you want to get your nose pierced for, son?" He said, "Man, Tupac had his nose pierced." I said, "Son," I said, "You wasn't even born. You wasn't even a thought when Tupac passed away.
He reached back for that one, didn't he?
You were born 10 years after Tupac died." He said, "Dad, that Tupac had the nose earring. It looked dope." I said, "So
Wow.
y'all looking at that?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Dude, why are you wearing those tight Levi's with those big ass shoes with the hoodie?" He was like, "Dad, you ain't seen Tupac?" He said, "Tupac wore this on Juice."
Wow. Wow.
And I went back and looked. Tupac had his pants sagging, had some Timberland boots on, with a hoodie and a jacket. I was like, no shit. And then I started looking at the way he dressed, my son, and started looking at Tupac, and I'm like, damn. Then I'm looking at these kids with the burst afros, with the crazy sponge looks. Nigga, De La Soul had that. I was looking, I'm like, damn. I'm like, yo, they just reinventing the wheel. It looks exactly the same.
Mm-mm.
The Tide One jogging suits wasn't baggy. That shit fit. And these kids now are wearing the same Adidas joggers, the same Adidas suits, track suits that we rocked back in the day.
That's really interesting stuff, man.
Yeah,
Lord.
they doing it. They went from the skinny jeans shit looking like punk rockers, and now if you look at these kids now, they look like the artists did in the 80s and going into the early 90s, bro. Like even like you see what Nipsey Hussle was looking like. They starting to wear clothes that fit, that you gotta that really fit them right. Like
Mm-hmm.
they buying their clothes that fit them now. We wore the baggy stuff. They looking like the cats from the 80s. And
we was off the rack. You know, they're trying to get stuff like it's tailor made.
Yeah, like these kids now, they coming in, they wearing outfits that look like Dapper Dan made. They wearing Gucci, they wearing Louis Vuitton, they really wearing Fendi. They don't mind spending $500 to $1,000 on some jeans. We was cool. We was crack babies. So we was wearing Levi's and whatever sweaters,
Wranglers
Wranglers and shit like that. We didn't care what we wore. We just took what we had and made it look fly.
Hey, if it wasn't a hand me down.
Yeah. If it wasn't a hand me down. Because I had plenty of your sweaters and jackets.
I don't know how that fit you. You make it work,
but
you make it work.
I'm saying by the time I was up and by the time I got to a certain age, I could put on the jacket of yours.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it was just your freshman jacket. You know, I could wear it. You know, these kids they different now, man, and I think it's dope.
It is. It is. You know, the fact that they got that vision to actually look back and pull inspiration from yesteryears. You know.
Yeah. I mean, like tell me when was the last time you looked on your TV and saw a kid wearing Ralph Lauren?
I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know.
They don't wear it no
I don't
more.
pay attention.
They don't wear it no more. They literally going out and finding designers, Moschino. They buying Supreme. They buying uh uh all kind of shit, man. Like these kids like they creating their own ways. Like they creating their own. They wearing Alf shirts. They wearing shirts that say Friends on it. And those are all the shows that came out in the '90s with us in the early 2000s. But they rocking that shit.
So it's a fusion generation. They're fusing the old with the new.
With the new, and it's looking dope.
Okay. Listen,
And
listen, Charlie. I know we can go on all night long, going back and forth. But
yeah,
you know, it's definitely it's good to hear your perspective on the landscape of how things are going with the kids these days, and the old
right.
music along with the new music and stuff. But with Charlie West, I know you got a lot of things that you got going on.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
gotta get back to editing this video.
yeah, artist, producer. But what projects are you got coming up on the horizon?
Everything that I've done, I did it this year already. I had an artist do a record with Lil Durk. I had we had some stuff with Pee Wee the Long Way.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Jada Kiss feature.
Okay, all right.
We did some shit with Ludacris. Some shit with Gucci.
Okay.
Uh, uh, so I've been getting placements. I got a homie that I've been working on this project on his album with him. He just got a Slim 400 feature. I mixed Sibo album.
You've been working. I mean, shoot, 2020 has been productive for you, huh?
Yeah, I probably, in the pandemic, I probably made the most money in Arizona. I mean, but at the same time, it was, and I ain't saying that nobody's pandemic proof because that'd be a lie, but I set everything up. It's crazy how I worked my ass off in 2019, and then everything started coming to fruition in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So they started dropping music because now everybody's sitting at home.
Right.
So everybody dropping music is easy for people to see it now because they ain't on the move and they looking for stuff.
So you saying you plant the seed in 2019, and you're now reaping
and I
the
just so happen
harvest.
to get lucky. Yeah.
Harvest season for you, huh, Charlie?
Yeah, it's been plentiful this year, man.
Well, look, man. Hey, I appreciate your time with us today on the What Does Zoe Know podcast here. I appreciate you, and let's catch up again, man.
All right. Love you, man. Be safe, and I'll see you in a couple of months.
All right, now, for sure. All right, thank you.
All right, sir.
I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
All right. Now, that was Charlie West out there in Arizona, artist, producer. He does a lot of things out there, and it was pretty good to have him on one of my early podcasts and just kind of converse with him a little bit. And it's about my time to wrap up here, and I'm glad you guys got to sit and listen. I hope it was entertaining for you, and I'll come at you with some more content and see where we go. We could be talking about anything under the sun is always fair game. I'm here for the dialogue. I'm here for to exchange ideas and concepts and stuff, and hopefully we can do this again soon. All right, you've been tuned in here to What Does Zoe Know. You guys have a good one.